Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with El Bushman and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Hey, welcome back in, everybody, to a new episode of the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. I'm the great El Bushman, and joining me as usual is Drew. Make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind and hit the subscribe notification bell when episodes drop. Big show today. Big show. We've got a special guest about to come on, but at the time of this recording, renderings for the yet again new stadium for the Tampa Bay Rays were just released on the Instagram page of the Rays Baseball and also on Twitter as well. So go check them out. We'll probably pop them on during the show too as well, so you guys can check them out. So we want to get into that. So our guest today, special guest, is the host of the JP Peterson Show. You can catch him from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday on the fanstreamsports.com YouTube page and on X and everywhere you go. Please welcome to the show, JP Peterson. What's up, man? It's been a long time.
What's up, boys?
What's up? It's been a long time, my friend.
Y'all don't look very sick. You look healthy. You look wonderful. I'm not sick, so can I come on this podcast?
You can definitely come on.
You can.
Physically, I'm not
You
sick.
can.
We can debate what's going on up here, but yeah.
What's up, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, man. Good to see
Good to
y'all.
see you.
So good things that came out today from the Tampa Bay Rays. We got the first renderings of the stadium, which will pop up here in a couple minutes. We'll get some discussions on that. But I wanted to bring you on. I mean, you have been kind of the Nostradamus on this, the Pied Piper, beating your chest ever since, when Stu is the owner and now new ownership has come in, has kind of really turned the tide, I think, for a lot of fans that were just kind of over the Stu Sternberg experience. And now new ownership has done way more than what he did in his tenure as the owner. Within 6 months, we've got a lot of hype with politicians around that really want to work with this ownership group. They're moving things along pretty quickly, per se. I know me and Drew have talked about this at length. We just want to see, shovels in the ground and get things going. But I think things are moving in the positive direction on this. I wanted to get your thoughts because there's a lot of negative Nancy's on social media right now, especially X and the Facebook GMs that think this is a bad idea and taxpayers have got to pay a lot of money on this. But I want you to kind of clear some air for a lot of people that think this is just a bad idea.
Well, first and foremost, unfortunately, we have a paper of record in this market that is ridiculously negative about everything with this new ownership group, but was unbelievably positive about one of the worst owners in the history of sports, in Stu Sternberg. And John Romano has been wrong at every turn about this stadium. So when he said it's not going to get done, I celebrated because that's fantastic. Because, again, he's been 100% wrong about everything. Unfortunately, we've waited so long for this moment, you guys, and you've gone along this stadium, and we all have fatigue. But we have to remember the reason nothing's ever gotten done is because of Stu Sternberg. Not because of the people in Tampa, not because of the people in St. Pete. It's all on Stu Sternberg. I had Bob Buckhorn on today, the former mayor, who was involved in the first deal in Ybor City and negotiated with Stu face-to-face. I implore everybody who is negative about this proposal to go watch that interview that we did today. And I'm going to tell you, Bob Buckhorn is never one to promote, taxes for, giving tax money to anybody that's not worthy or a worthy project. He's very stingy about where those dollars go. And he is over the moon about this new ownership group and the possibilities of what we can build. And seeing the renderings today was just so inspiring. But the negativity is it's off the charts, and it's negative because of the experience that we've had. And it's pretty simple stuff, folks. If you remove the impediment to all the issues and you replace it with people who have deep pockets, that have political connections. If I've been saying it for almost a year now since I broke the story on this group, if you and people that know how to get things done, like Ken Babby, and Buckhorn said it so much better than I could about, these guys are following the lead and the approach of Jeffrey Vinnick.
Yep.
And that's a pretty good way to go. And Bob talked, and this is such a great analogy and comparison. He talked about Water Street. And this was 10 years ago, no, not 16 years ago, 2010, 2011, when Jeff first bought it and came into this with this vision of, hey, we're going to do this Water Street thing, but we need some public help. And we allocated $100 million, which back then was a lot of money, to give, quote, to a billionaire. Well, you know what he told me today? They have returned $1.2 billion to the taxpayers. $1.2 billion to the taxpayers, tenfold the investment. If you go look at the investment into Raymond James Stadium of $190 million that we built it for, right? Freaking nothing. But at the time, everybody was saying the same negative crap that you hear right now. It's too much money. We can't do it. Why are we giving money to billionaires? Do you know how much money we've received back at all the events, that if the 3 Super Bowls, the national championship, being able to keep the Buccaneers? If we didn't do that deal, we wouldn't have the Buccaneers. And no Raymond James Stadium, no bowl games, no NFL, no anything. I mean, come on.
Super Bowls.
So,
I mean, how many Super Bowls have they
3
hosted?
Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same negative Nancy's, but this is worse because we wanted this moment for so long, and now people are all negative about it. And it's like, it removes Stu Sternberg. This is an $8 to $10 billion investment, of which these guys are only asking 1.15 billion in return.
Which,
and
JP, a lot of people don't know about that. They just see the 1.1 billion. They're like, well, what are the Rays gonna? What are the Rays gonna throw? And it's like, you guys got to read into this. You can't just look at some blurb, some X guy put on there, just a little smidge of what the public have to put in. The Rays are going to be putting in a lot more than what a lot of people think they are. They're going to be making the investment because this new ownership group, they want to make this happen. They want to make this happen.
Well, and even with the stadium in St. Pete and the last ownership group in the last deal, if I recall, JP, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they were saying St. Pete had to cover all of the overruns.
Well,
right?
No. The Rays said they were gonna cover the cost overruns, and that's one of the reasons. As soon as I heard that, I said this is all bullshit. It's not going to get done. Because there's no way Stu Sternberg was ever going to cover that. And by the way, there was no way Stu Sternberg was ever going to pay $700 million of his own money for anything. That was all a real estate grab. We don't even need to talk about that anymore.
Right.
The comparisons to the two deals are not even, it's apples and oranges, because it's two different approaches, two different ownership groups. One was fake and never going to do anything. These guys are serious and have money. So this deal is a true public-private partnership. And all you need to do is ask yourself this: if we don't get this done, there are probably 6 to 10 cities in America that are just hoping to God we fumble this ball, because they're waiting in line to have some group bring their baseball stadium to a place that will generate, again, $8 to $10 billion of investment that they're going to put in, and all that's going to generate over the life of the stadium. And we can get into some of the other minutia of it, but just in general, when you do a public-private partnership and you get that much money back, that's all people are talking about, is what we're going to spend in public money. And by the way, these are not property taxes that can go to police or fire or roads or anything else. These are taxes, or what I like to call more user fees, that if you don't go to the stadium, you'll never really pay. Except for if SITS money, there's some of the SITS money will be used, and that's a half-cent sales tax. But again, that money cannot be earmarked for these other projects. It's only for stadium and tourism and things like that. So, there hopefully will be a rental car tax. That's still kind of up in the air, but if we can get that passed, and that's basically in the governor's chair. He said the other day he's not interested in it, but I think that would more, kind of a campaign thing than anything. Not a campaign for him, but he's always been very anti-new taxes. So to come out with a new tax right now would be probably not in his best interest, but it's something that can be negotiated and work for this particular project. But the bottom line is, if we put in $1 billion and we get tenfold back in taxes and property taxes, then that's a good deal, right? I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but if I'm going to put in $1 billion, you're going to send me $10 billion back. I'm going to say that's a pretty good deal.
It's a pretty good.
Well,
And people
you know,
might, and I hate to
you're
take
fine.
all the time here, but if people might say, well, how's that going to work? Just like Water Street worked. A lot of the area that Jeffrey Vinnick bought was not producing any property tax revenue. And the same goes for HCC. Drew Park has been a CRA for 20 years and nobody's ever invested. That money produces zero property tax, the mayor said today. It's parking lots, pickleball courts, and tennis, and a college that doesn't provide any tax revenue. When these guys are done with all the condos and the businesses and the office part and all these things, that's all property tax that's going to be generated that is not being generated now. That's all new money. It's not like Tropicana Field where that real estate was really, really valuable and developers were itching to get onto it. And giving that away was a huge cost to the taxpayers. No developers are buying that property. First of all, because there's a state college on the property. So all of this comes together with DeSantis, with the mayor, Castor, and Mayor Buckhorn, who will be the incoming mayor, all coming together with a great group of people. And this is the key. And he couldn't stop talking about how great this ownership group is, how communicative, and that they're approaching it exactly the way Jeffrey Vinnick did.
I caught the interview today on your show. I watched a little bit of it when he was on, and it just seemed like all the politicians so far during the past couple of weeks have been just nothing but positive and gushing about the possibility of having the stadium in the location that we have up on the screen right now. And it's just been like positivity all throughout, especially with the politicians. Now, when we go back a year ago, when we were dealing this with Stu and the old ownership group, it was just nothing but butting heads and people going back and forth about blaming each other. But now it just seems like everybody's pretty much on the same page about getting this done and getting it done quickly. Because remember, the timeline is 2029 is opening day is when they want to be in this brand new stadium. So I think, having everybody on board, obviously there's going to be a couple detractors here and there, but having everybody on board. And when you've got the governor and then the commissioner both coming down for a press conference right like this to have their support in it and saying, hey, baseball belongs in baseball belongs in Tampa Bay. It will succeed in Tampa Bay. That to me, and I know a lot of people are just going to come at us in the comments is, oh, you guys are just fluffing up everything. It's like, no, we haven't had this really in the past before. Everybody's now coming together to get this done because they believe they believe baseball is going to succeed with having this getting done. I wanted to get your approach on that too, because, you've been kind of the leader on this too, as well, with everybody backing up this plan is, what do you see as what do you want to say to Rays fans to what they're going to be probably expecting within like the next 60 to next 90 days about this plan coming through? Do you see a lot more, hey, proposals getting done? What do you see that's going to happen in the next 60 to 90 days with this?
Well, there's going to be a lot of education, and there needs to be, because so many people are negative about this, because it's an easy, for people in the media, it's an easy rage bait, right? It's like, oh, we giving them $1 billion and they're making all this money. Why should we give them tax money? Why can't they afford it themselves?
Right.
I mean, and it's easy, it's populist. I get it. But when you dig down, and it's not even that hard to really understand, creating more buildings and that will create tax base and more money for the city, it's an investment. It's not just a handout. And you also have their side putting in $8 to $10 billion. And that, again, that's money that doesn't just go to the baseball team. And this is what Buckhorn was very insistent about, is that this is just not a baseball park. It's so much more than that. It's, 75% of this is not a baseball park, but baseball brings everybody together and makes that land valuable. Even Hillsborough College is on board with this because they're going to get basically a whole new campus.
Yep.
And internships and job opportunities for their students, something they never had before. So I think it's a lot of education that needs to be done. And I think once people realize that this is something that is going to be great for the entire community, not just for baseball, not just for these billionaires, that these guys are true partners. I think everybody they keep saying the Rays, right? Well, this is not the Rays of 20 years ago in Stu Sternberg. It's a completely different group, and it's really the promise of what baseball could and should have been all the time here in Tampa Bay. A centrally located stadium, not on the edge of the market, a state-of-the-art stadium, not some obsolete eyesore like Tropicana Field, and most importantly, an ownership group that cares about Tampa Bay. These guys, and I know Zalewski lives in Jacksonville. He's going to, I've been told, relocate to Tampa. Ken Babby already lives here, the CEO. Bill Cosgrove has been a Tampa Bay area resident for a long, long time. And then all the other limited partners like Michael Murphy, Fred Ridley, the Dex Imaging guys. So many more of these limited partners are all prominent members of Tampa Bay. These people care about Tampa Bay. Stu Sternberg never gave a shit about Tampa Bay, ever. And, when he told St. Pete, you're not a major league city, and then, if they throw $2 billion at me, maybe I'll build a stadium here. No, this is a completely different thing, and people need to understand that. So I think in the next 60 days, we'll get to know these guys a little bit more, understand that they're sincere, they're honest, they're approaching it the right way. More interviews like the one I did with Buckhorn today, with Ken Hagan and all of these folks. And I think the education portion, hopefully, will get through a lot of thick heads. Maybe even the folks at the Times will never get it. But the rest of us do. And I think that's what's going to make this go. But to your point, we've never had the governor come down and support this. We've never had the commissioner come down and support this with the governor. Everybody that needs to be somebody, the big people that are in charge are the ones who are behind this. And I think the people will follow when they understand the details of the deal.
Now, one of the details for the stadium is 31,000 is the capacity. Do you like that number for okay. That's what I thought too. Okay.
That's around what the Trop is, right? With the upper deck, I think is around 30.
But the upper deck is like 48.
45 when the deck is uncovered,
is
then covered is like 31. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I thought it was
smaller,
25 with it covered. I'm sorry. Way off.
But 31's perfect. I think it's a perfect venue size. It'll be a little short, for opening day 2029, but we'll figure it out.
Do you like what do you think of the renderings themselves? I was telling Evan before we started, I was like, these look great. At some point, all the renderings they kind of look the same to me. I said, my favorite renderings are the ones that get built. So if this is the one that gets built, then I love this rendering. This rendering is my absolute favorite.
Buckhorn made it a point to say, listen, when you design these buildings, I want them to be imaginative and beautiful and inspiring. Right. And I agree with them because there's a lot of architecture in Tampa Bay that is not that. Mm-hmm. And we need to up our game in that area big time. When you go to cities like, big time cities like Chicago and Dallas and some other places, there's imaginative architecture, and ours very much lacks that in a lot of ways. So this building, I think, is beautiful. The translucent roof. I'd rather get rid of the Starburst and put a Devil Ray logo on there. I would trade that out. But we haven't seen anything of the inside stuff. But the outside stuff, I think, is beautiful. It's imaginative. The translucent roof, I think, is it's iconic. I love it.
The open air exterior too, because people hear a fixed roof and they kind of, those negative Nancy's, they start thinking about it being like the Trop. Well, it's going to be a fixed roof, but obviously, this open air, kind of like they have in Miami and some other stadiums. This kind of
reminds me of SoFi Stadium a little bit.
It's got a fixed roof, which obviously is a non-negotiable, but it's still going to feel like you're in a bit of more of an environment rather than a concrete prison like the Trop. I did want to ask you, JP, and I know I've heard you talk on your show a lot, so I kind of know where you're probably going to head with this, but I just wanted to ask you here. I think the best thing this ownership group has done is make Ken Babby the face of the group and the face of the team when it comes to interacting with the public. It's such a huge 180 from what I just thinking back to Silverman's interview on WDAE before last year, and just all these things that were happening, how they fumbled the public perception so badly. What are your thoughts on Ken Babby? He seems awesome. I love the energy he brings, and I love his ability to, I think, perceive how we feel in the community and how we feel as Rays fans, because he talks a lot about the stadium fatigue, which even just that phrasing, it's like he understands how we're feeling. Yeah, he understands where we're at in this. And so I would love to know your thoughts on him specifically, since he's the public face of this group.
Great question. Great question. And it couldn't be, to your point, 180 degrees different. Yeah, going on the radio and lying a lot is just not a good way to endear yourself to the fan base. The team's not for sale. I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, it's just on and on. How many times Stu would sit there and lie about stuff, and it's nauseating. And it is. I mean, think about this, guys. How many Rays fans have left the fandom because of the ownership group? I think it's a huge number.
Huge chunk. It's a
Yeah,
huge chunk.
and having just getting those people back, and I just within myself, I'm like, I can't wait to spend my own money with these guys. I can't wait to participate again with a full heart. Even when I went to games and I love the Rays and I love the team and I love the cash and the players, there was still a part of me that couldn't really let it go, because you knew in the end that this jerk was the guy that was reaping all the benefits. And so remove that. Oh my God, it's fantastic. And Ken gets it. And if you talk to anybody from Jacksonville or Akron who's dealt with him in a business sense, they can't say enough wonderful things about Ken Babby. They just cannot say enough wonderful things. And my experience, I haven't met the man face to face, but I know so many people that have. And all of these politicians that I talk with, the first thing they want to say is, oh, how refreshing it is to deal with someone who's real and authentic and understands how to go about these things, as opposed to Stu Sternberg. Now, for the fans, for the politicians, for everybody, it is such a breath of fresh air. And again, man, we have just scratched the surface of what we can be in baseball here in Tampa Bay, because we all know, we grow up with this game.
Yep.
The little leagues, the major league players, the coaches that we produce per capita basis is the most in the nation. I mean, the stars of the game were born here and played here, and people love baseball, but we've always had the worst stadium and the worst owners. And now we're going to finally do it right. And I can't believe people aren't more excited about it.
I love the fact that Ken likes to go out and be like in front of everything. He likes to go out and talk to the media, likes to go out and put the fan first. That's what their first introduction, like press conference, it was like, we want the fan experience. It's all about the fans, because that's who drives the team, is the fans. And we haven't heard that in maybe 20 plus odd years about the fan experience, which I love about this new ownership group. For the fans that have kind of maybe left and we wanted to get them back, I wish they would have an open mind about this new ownership group. This isn't like a bunch of stuffy guys from New York that came down and bought a team and then just, hey, this is all about us. This is a ownership group that cares, knows the game of baseball, is from the area, and wants to make this succeed. I wanted to ask you this question, and this has been popping up a lot. Ken Hagan has brought this up a couple of times with the Orlando thing. Is that realistic if this just goes sideways, and is the Orlando thing could be a reality if this thing goes sideways with what's going on with Hillsborough County and the Rays?
Well, first and foremost, okay, the team has never said use Orlando as a bargaining chip. They have never done that. All right. And that's usually the standard operating procedure to get stadium deals done. So let's give them a lot of credit for that. But I think Ken is being very pragmatic about this. If Orlando, if we can't get it done, then I think the next spot is going to be Orlando, because you still want the governor's involvement and you still want the state support. Now, the fact of the matter is they could take their team to Nashville, Raleigh, San Antonio.
Hey, the Dreamers came out with a new logo yesterday, so they just put.
Oh, jeez.
But bottom line, I can tell you, there's a lot going on in the Orlando deal. People think they have FU money and they're ready and their stadium is ready and all that. Nothing could be further from the truth. They don't have a stadium site that fits what these guys want to do. The one they have right now is about 40 acres. It doesn't even come close to doing what they want to do. The only other site within that area that would work at 110 acres it's a traffic bottleneck, and nobody wants to develop on that area because it's horrible. So you don't even have a site that's workable, first and foremost. You don't have an ownership group, for a second. And in terms of public money, yeah, they've got a lot of it, but it's already committed to Camping World Stadium, $400 million to host the Jaguars, and another, I don't know, 800 to $1 billion to redo the convention center and enlarge the convention center. So yeah, they got of money, but it's all spoken for. The bottom line is, I think Orlando, and I think it's brilliant for Ken to kind of mention this, is, for everybody on the city commission and the county commission to know, if they pass on this deal and the Rays go to Orlando, that's going to be on your political resume for the rest of your life. And you will never, and I mean never, hold office in Tampa again. Same thing happened to the people that did that horrible deal in Miami. Their political careers were over. So, I mean, listen, I don't think you should vote for it because your political career will end if you don't. I think you should vote for it because it's a good deal for the community and the taxpayers. And I think when everybody sees the deal and understands the deal and stops reading the negative Tampa Bay Times and all the false narratives that they put out, I think it'll gain some momentum. But I tell you what though, if I'm Ken and Pat and Bill Cosgrove, right now I'm looking at social media and I'm looking at it and I'm going, wow, maybe these people just don't want it here. Maybe we'll just go somewhere else. And I hope that's not the case. You know, I feel bad because we are not the most welcoming fan base right now. There's so much of this freaking negativity, and we need to turn that around because they may just say, you know what, let's get the hell out of here and go somewhere where we're wanted. And I don't blame them. I mean, the negativity that I see on social media and this asinine stuff that keeps getting printed in the Tampa Bay Times is bothersome. And if I were them, I would be a little bit concerned. And that we need to turn that around big time.
Yeah. I love the little things they're doing with the stadium right now, like the fact that you can secure your early ticket access for the new stadium.
Got mine. $19.98,
I figured if it doesn't happen, it'll be used to win an arbitration case against Junior Caminero in 2028 offseason. So, I'm doing my part. But like just little things like that, just, and obviously the politicians, it's just been great to see. And I'm confident it gets done because of who's involved, like we talked about. I did want to ask you this, JP, the last question before we get out of here. And tell me if I'm majoring on the minors here. I am a little worried, though, at some point the Yankees are going to start making some noise about the Rays moving in right next door, that the Bucks, there's talk about the Bucks potentially being a little bit, hey, what about make sure you guys have money for us, and there's some competition there. But, like with the Yankees and the Bucks right there, do you foresee any issues coming up where it prevents something like this from getting done?
No,
again?
100%.
Okay.
No, first of all, of course, lost in all the negative reporting once again was when Ken Hagan said that the Bucks are going to do another lease extension and that they've already committed $6 or are holding $6 for the Bucks. So they know that none of the money that they believe they're going to need for the Bucks is going to be touched in this Rays deal. So they've already figured that out, and they've set aside what they think will be, good enough for the Bucks. They just don't know because the Bucks haven't approached them. And here's the other thing: if the Bucks are really worried about this, don't you think they'd be making noise?
Right.
Of course they would. They know they're the big dog. They're the most powerful. They're not worried about it. And they put out a statement. They said, "Yeah, we look forward to learning more." They didn't come out and say, "No, what about us? We're the NFL," which they could have. They very well could have said, "Well, too bad the city of Tampa doesn't care about us because, our lease is up and I wonder what's going to happen with that." They didn't say that. They said, "Oh, we look forward to learning more." And now they're learning more. So yeah, the county and the city are very much aware that the Bucks are the big dog and they're going to be able to take care of them as well. Again, everybody keeps saying, "Well, we don't have money for all these different things." I'm like, well, Philadelphia does. Kansas City, or not Kansas City because they moved over. But some of these other big cities, they do it all right. Why not us? We're the fastest growing community. These other places are losing people. People are moving.
They're all coming down here.
They're all coming here. So we got to build places for them to live, right? And this is part of it. We're building housing in this whole development. So no, the Yankees bent over backwards for the Rays last year. So why would they suddenly not want them there now? It doesn't affect them. In fact, it enhances their spring training.
Yeah.
Because now people going to those games can enjoy this beautiful entertainment center. And you go to all the bars and restaurants there as well. I mean, no, the Yankees, and by the way, the Yankees know that this is Tampa Bay. This is the Rays market. They have a lease on that stadium. They don't own Steinbrenner. And I can tell you this, Hal Steinbrenner has been tremendous and following in his father's footsteps. And he's always said, what's good for Tampa is good for the Yankees. And that comes from his dad, who said that a gazillion times. And they want what's best for Tampa Bay. They want what's best for Major League Baseball. They don't have a problem with this. It just enhances their experience. And as far as the Bucks, they're taken care of. So I don't think either one of those are going to be a problem.
Awesome. Well, JP, thanks for coming on the show, man. I know you got a lot of things to do. We'll get you on out of here. You can catch him Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on fanstreamsports.com, at Fanstream Sports Tampa Bay on YouTube. JP Peterson, everybody. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you, brother.
Thanks, JP.
Loved it. Appreciate you.
Yep.
See ya.
Educate these people.
Trying to, man. What's your thoughts, man? What do you think about the stadium?
Great.
I love it. I love it. When the
Yeah.
renderings came out today, I was like, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I really do like the renderings. I agree. I saw the sunburst and my thought was, man, because I'm kind of hoping that they do a rebrand going into the new stadium. There's been a lot of talk about a Devil Ray, going back to Devil Rays, and which I think would be objectively very cool.
Listen, I think I'm going to disagree with you. I like the sunburst. I like it.
I don't know. I think the branding of the team is a little bland. And I think there could be more done. I just think, what got me going on that is seeing them bring back the Devil Rays throwbacks over the last, several years. They just look so good.
Dude, if they go rebrand, this is what I think they should do. They should have the black and white old Devil Rays jerseys. Have those. Okay.
Yeah, but they got the Black City Connects.
Well, I was going to say, keep the City Connects too, but then bring back some kind of variation of the old Devil Ray uniform as an alternative.
The green, you should do the green.
No, not the green one.
The white and green dress.
No, that was the ugliest. I don't know why they went that way when they went that route with the green ones.
I know, but I just think I would like for them to do, even if it's not a rebrand from a Rays back to Devil Rays and going a big transformation like that. Yeah. I would love, I think, a rebrand of just the standard uniform look, just the usual stuff. We don't have to change the name, whatever. Yeah. But let's get a little bit of let's get some fresh uniforms in there.
I'm not opposed to that, man.
I love really majoring more on the Devil Ray or the Stingray logo as opposed to the Sunburst. But, that's just me. I think the Rays rebrand that they did back in 2008 has accomplished exactly what they wanted. And
so you think every new ownership group should have a rebrand and retooling of everything?
No, I truly believe in the right environment, right circumstances, and there being a new ownership group, potentially a new stadium in a few years, having a superstar player or two like a Junior Caminero, like a Ben Williamson. No, I'm just kidding. But I like Junior Caminero, and okay, we're going to this new stadium, a new era of Rays baseball. I really think that the Rays can be a cool baseball team. They could be the Padres were not cool. I'm old enough to remember when the Padres were not cool. Because
they had the Friar Tuck as the logo.
They had Adrian Gonzalez and Jake Peavy. Back in that era, they weren't bad, but they weren't cool. And now they're cool. It is, and I'm not saying San Diego and Tampa Bay are the same, but because it's the only team in town for them. But their games are sold out. The fans are rowdy. They got swag. The whole.
Well, it's pretty much all you have there in San Diego now. Is
and they got those city connect. I know, but they got this. They're just a cool place to play, and I really think that Tampa and the Tampa Bay Rays can be that. And so for me, it's I want that to be reflected on what's presented on the field,
No, I get it.
Players and with, the colors, the team, the team jerseys, that kind of stuff. So, yeah,
I think that's a lot of people's kind of gripes right now is because of the payroll, and we're getting all these young guys to come in, and it's okay,
make it a place to play.
We have one big name player, it's Junior, and everybody else is kind of a guy.
I want it to be a place for people that they want to come play, and not just oh, hey, I can get a 1-year deal. Not saying this is Cedric Mullins' belief, but a Cedric Mullins type player. No, I want guys that are prime of their careers saying yeah, I could go play. I want to go play there.
Yeah.
That. Yeah, that would be awesome. It's a great market, great environment. It's a cool place to be up and coming. And I really think they can be that. And I felt that way ever since really, the new wave of players when Kevin Cash came in. and they've had the right mix of players. They just didn't have the right ownership or the right stadium.
I
to
think
market it.
where we're at is, look, I know there's a lot of people that, oh, it's another stadium rendering. Oh, we've been through this before. It's another dog and pony show. I get it.
And they're not. Yeah, they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. No, and we've been to this spot many times. I don't know. We can't count the many times.
How many renderings have there been?
I think that's
it's
5 now.
5 or 6.
5 or 6. I think it's 5 because you have the Ybor site. You have the open air one.
You got the Montreal.
Or I don't
know if they did renderings.
No, I don't think they ever did a stadium rendering for that. But like, we get it. We get it, everybody. We're going through another, hey, rendering. We're gonna get a stadium, and I know a lot of people have fatigue about that. It's like, okay, buckle up because this could end badly. I think everybody should just kind of calm down for right now and just let it play out, because I think with this new ownership group coming in, I think it's a totally different ballgame because they actually care about keeping the team here and building something that's, going to have the Rays here for the next X amount of years. And then it's also going to help out the community too, as well. This is an area, an entertainment, I would say an entertainment center that's going to be open year round, not only for Rays games, but, you could also have concerts there. And look, basketball tournaments, you could probably put, you could probably put the NCAA basketball tournament there too, as well. So for all those fans that are just, oh, we're going through this again. Yeah, you're going through it again, but I think the outcome is going to be different.
It's different. And I mean, I'll be honest, I got excited, put my deposit in, my $19.98 deposit. Because I've been talking with my family for years and being like, listen, and this is even back when we lived in Lakeland, and even now that I'm out of state, like the first game, opening day at a new Rays stadium, I have said for a decade plus, I will be there.
Yeah.
And you bet when I put my $19.98 deposit in this morning.
Did you notice the $19.98 is
I know
they said.
Yeah, I know that's what they said. And I put it in and I was very excited because I want to go and I want to be there. And so like, it just, I don't know. It was a small touch. I like that they gave us the option because they never did that with, it is non-refundable though. So like I said, if it doesn't actually happen, maybe it'll be used to pay a junior, an ARP case hearing.
What I also noticed too, Drew, is I think also like the timeline of how things are progressing compared to last time. It's just moving. It's moving. Yeah. There's been no stalls, knock on wood. There's been no stalling as of yet because
and no media, like no talking in the media about it. Like it's just kind of like we're just all of a sudden finding out like, oh yeah, there's a press conference.
Oh yeah. And like this past week, they had a unanimous vote about doing this. Like they had another unanimous vote. So it's like, it's moving.
Yeah.
It's moving.
And it's great. Yeah. And it kind of fits like, I remember back when they were talking about selling the team and the process of, and I remember it was actually JP would say, listen, the less you hear, the better. Because that means things are actually happening in the background. If you're starting to just hear more and more, then that's just people using the media to try and get a message.
I tell you what, Drew, I tweeted this out a couple days ago or last week. I bet you this was done weeks ago. They're just starting to trickle out stuff. And I bet you opening day this year, opening day 2026, April 6th at Tropicana Field, you'll get an announcement.
It's Chicago Cubs.
You'll get an announcement. The deal is done.
You think so?
The site is secured. We're going to break ground this day and then move forward. I bet you anything. What? I mean, look, it's opening day. Awesome. You're back at the Trop. What better way to say, hey, the deal is done by doing it that way?
They have a champions district. I think to be more accurate, it should be wild card champion district. Don't you think we just really put all
the wild cards,
the wild card banners? I think that's where it could be wild card district. Like that's where we could finally put those wild card banners to good use.
It's not a bad idea.
I think it's a good idea. But it really is. I mean, it's as Rays fans, we're conditioned, especially Rays fans that want to see the team stay and actually want this stadium to get done. We're conditioned to not get too ahead of ourselves, not get, and because we've been let down so many times before. But like you said, this group just keeps moving. These boxes just keep getting checked. And there's a lot of negativity out there. I would encourage, as JP did, and as we have, like Rays fans, I get it. Traffic, yes. Like all those issues you bring up about logistics, I understand. But this is literally, I think, the last chance that we would have to keep the Rays in Tampa Bay. And I don't want them to screw it up. So, I urge Rays fans who are against it, who are being negative, do some more research, find it in your heart to get excited about this. And I think getting into
Don't read what the
Tampa
Bay
if the
Times
Rays
put out.
if the Rays surprise us and come out a little, and I think that's going to build some more goodwill towards the ownership group. And because we haven't been able to see this ownership group with an actual baseball team yet,
Right.
So I think all that's going to help. I would also, hey, listen, Ken Babby, if you're listening, if you're watching and you're like, hey, I want to get my voice out there,
come on our show.
yeah, come on our show. We would love to have you and talk Rays Stadium and Rays fandom, and hopefully give you a better sense of what Rays fans actually feel. And we're excited. I'm excited. Like I said, best $19.98 I've spent in a long time.
I went on a Rays hat shopping spree the past couple of weeks to get brand new hats for this year. And
I need to get a new one.
This is this is a new one. This is the A-frame from Lids.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. It's actually my birthday coming up in 10 days, so maybe I can use that as an excuse to get some
birthday
Rays gear. So,
well, I'm excited too, man. I'm Fan Fest is coming up next week. We've got
JP is so knowledgeable too on the stadium stuff. Like
he's been one of those guys that he's been one of those guys that got a lot of crap before, but I think a lot of people are starting to say, you know what, he's been right about a lot of things, and we've been working with him for a long time too, and we've kind of been in the same boat that he has about the Rays and where they're going. But like, I think people are now starting to go, hey, he's been right about a lot of stuff. The times have been negative throughout this whole process. They're still negative now about the team and what they're doing. So a lot of Rays fans listen to what JP has to say. Listen to us too as well, man. We kind of have the inside track about what's going on too with the Rays. So I mean, for the Rays fans that are kind of still on the fence about this and I haven't wanted to pay attention to the team because of past experience with past ownership and put a bad taste in your mouth, those days are over, man. The tide has turned for this team, and I think the stadium deal is going to get done finally, and the Rays will have a new home in Tampa. As much as you people want it in St. Pete, it's that ship has sailed too. It's going to be in Tampa where it should be. If it's an extra drive for you guys over the bridge, so be it. But if you support the team, go watch some baseball. Go watch some baseball this year too as well. Yep. It's going to be fun. Final thoughts, man?
I'm ready to talk about the actual team. So I know spring training's coming up, and we'll
that'll be another episode.
We'll start talking on field, and I'm excited. But hey, if we keep having positive, stadium developments, then I'm more than happy to talk.
If you're not hearing anything, that's a good thing.
You're gonna have to change your background.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to change it to one of these. Once we get, obviously these aren't final renderings, but once we get them, I'll get them in there. You just went on mute. You went on mute. Oh, man. Just as we're ending the show, you go on mute. Oh, there you go.
Am I good? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
My mute button wasn't working.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, man, it's good stuff. And thanks, JP, for coming on. And looking forward to the next few weeks.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again for another episode of the Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Make sure to go to our Instagram at Sick Podcast Rays Rewind. Also our YouTube channel at Sick Podcast Rays Rewind. Hit the subscribe notification bell. We'll see you guys next time on the Rays Rewind podcast. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with El Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.